Hello, welcome back to you and to me. We're all still here. Some people are still here. Some people are newly here. This is just, it's a family. It's a family of cutting room. We are really quite stoked to have like a bit of a legend here. So all the way from Austin, Texas.
That's right.
Mr. Evan LeRoy of LeRoy and Lewis in Austin. So
howdy.
we're
Thanks for having me today.
it's quite special. So I mean, with the help of our friends at Yeti, who are very bloody helpful, to be quite honest.
That's right. And visit Austin, Texas.
Absolutely.
Want to see all you guys in Austin later.
Not tonight, but I mean,
Later this year.
So look, so Chef LeRoy is going to do the same ribeye. He's tomahawk. He's doing out there. It's
That's
a ribeye,
right, yeah.
long bone ribeye, which there's been a massive queue for. I mean, have you got any left?
Yes. So we
Yeah.
were taking a little bit of a break just because the pit. It's not that big. We're used to a 1,000-gallon offset. That one's a little bit smaller. So, we're smoking off the ribeyes. There was a little bit of a lag, and then I also needed to, compose myself, take a breather, get ready for the demo.
Center.
Yeah. But
Okay. Well, look. I mean, and you guys. So you're lucky enough to, you are the queue. You're going to get some of this. This miso. I'm pointing over there. It was there. It's here.
It's here now.
So you got a bit of tomahawk, miso, garlic butter.
That's right.
Yeah.
Miso, mustard, garlic
Miso, mustard,
butter.
Garlic butter. So you've been basically. I mean, we had a chat earlier, didn't we? You basically grew up around barbecue. So
I did. I grew up in Austin, Texas. It was kind of ubiquitous. It was everywhere. I don't really remember like my first bite of barbecue. I've just kind of always
it's
been
like your first breath of air. You don't remember it, do you? It's just,
Yes,
It
exactly.
happens. You're in Austin.
right.
The place is made of barbecue.
Yeah, and then it wasn't really until I left Austin to go to school in Florida College at Florida State University, and then I lived in New York City, where those places didn't really have barbecue, or at least the way that I knew it, the way that I missed it, the culture around it, until I realized kind of what I was missing and what what I kind of wanted to bring back. Yeah,
A taste of home.
that's right.
Yeah. So we were chatting earlier. So we've got very similar principles. So we agree in,
Of course.
sort of really good produce. So the animals always kept naturally. And if we're in Austin, Texas, obviously you'd be using the cattle from the area, local
100%.
animals.
That is all we use at our restaurant in Austin, Texas. We are on a first-name basis with every single rancher that raises all the animals that we cook and serve in our restaurant. So all the beef, all the pork, all the chicken, all the duck, yeah.
But as responsible people of the world, when we come to London, then we're using, so obviously we're using some really good meat from the UK, which is, we do have some really good meat.
Yes, you definitely do. I mean, all the classic heritage breeds, beef and pork, come from this part of the world originally.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, quite. Has anyone been to Austin? Anyone been to Texas? Oh, look at that. Oh, a few people.
Has anyone been to LeRoy and Lewis? All right. Yeah.
There you go. Excellent. Brilliant.
Nice.
Well,
Okay.
look, a little bit of Texas is here today.
Yeah, absolutely. So
What are you going to do for us?
So what we're going to do is make this steak, this big, thick-cut tomahawk, bone-in ribeye, smoked and grilled. So a little background on why we're doing this dish. We've always wanted to be a whole animal barbecue restaurant, right? I was working at some other barbecue places and just opening up boxes and boxes of vac-packed meat that I had no idea where it came from. I had no idea what it was being fed. I had no clue about just where it came from. So we had this idea to open LeRoy and Lewis, where it would be everything locally sourced. All, if we believe that we cook the best Texas barbecue, then it should also be raised in Texas. It should be from Texas animals. So in that endeavor, when we opened a food truck, we were a food truck for 7 years, and we just opened a restaurant, the Brick and Mortar, in February. So before that, we were sourcing whole hogs. We were cooking whole hogs the way that our friends Hector and Don are doing over here, and doing that for pulled pork and pulled whole hog. We were using the back legs to make sausage. We were cutting big belly-on pork spare ribs, and really just using the whole animal for pork and obviously chicken. But we weren't really able, because of space, to do that with beef until we moved into this restaurant. So we got partnered up with a rancher. His name's Joel Benliff from Laureen Farms in Weimar, Texas. And he saw us on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel, by the way. Subscribe. And he said, hey, I think that I can get you guys a really good product at a really competitive price. And so we started working with him on how we could bring in whole animals into the restaurant. And so we do a lot of the same things with the beef that we do with the pork. The back leg, a lot goes to ground and burgers and sausages. And the front shoulder, like the claw and the chuck, a lot of that goes to kind of chopped beef pieces. But then you have all this beautiful, delicious steaks in the middle that are just worth so much and look so good. So we started cutting these big, big steaks, kind of like this, almost the same size, if not a little bit thicker, ribeyes and porterhouses. And the way that our service works at the restaurant is it's traditional barbecue market style service. So you line up or you queue up, and then you order your meats by the pound, or you can do it by the plate, and you order your kind of scoopable sides, and then you'll pay at the end. But these steaks just looked so good, and if we wanted to really do them justice, then we wanted to have a sit-down service, and we knew that there weren't that many of them per animal. We get about 24 per animal. So we started this steak reservation thing where people can, where we'll cut all these steaks, we'll inventory these steaks, people sign up for a dinner, and then they get to choose basically a ribeye or a porterhouse and how big it is based on their party size. And then it comes with full service. And it's really fun for us because, the servers, they are normally, kind of like scooping stuff behind the line, and a lot of them are really talented hospitality industry veterans, so they are eager to really deliver that high level of service to people. They're eager to sell nice big bottles of wine and Cabernet with these steaks. We're eager to cook something outside of the bounds that we normally do.
New school barbecue.
New school barbecue, exactly. And whenever people come to the restaurant, they typically want a pit tour. They want to see where the action happens. So we kind of brought all this together with this steak experience that is, you sign up for it, you reserve it. You can pre-order other meats too, so you get served like a regular restaurant, like a really nice restaurant, like a steakhouse, but it's kind of a laid-back vibe for barbecue.
Yeah, yeah.
And then this big steak comes to the table. You get a pit tour. You get your bottles of wine. You get your appetizers. You get your desserts and everything. So it's just a little bit of a different service experience, and it is all in respect to how good this piece of meat tastes and looks.
Fantastic. And so I mean, new school barbecue. So
Right.
basically, I mean, who doesn't love brisket? Brisket's bloody great,
Exactly.
And pulled pork is bloody
yeah.
great. But what you're sort of saying is you're taking the skills you've got that you were sort of born into, really.
Right.
But you're moving it along. Like you're doing some ox cheeks. You're doing some other bits of animal.
Yeah, that's the whole idea behind New School Barbecue.
Yeah.
It's kind of, if we were to just open up a Texas barbecue restaurant, then it's just going to be, well, how's their brisket compared to everybody else's brisket? How's their pork ribs compared to everybody else's pork ribs? We really wanted to change the conversation and have people asking, where does the meat come from? What else can they do besides the traditional stuff? And, how else can they master this pit? How else can we express barbecue through meat, through fire? Because it's more than just those couple menu items. It's a method of cooking. It's a cultural tent pole in Texas. It is just so much more than just a couple different meats. So that's kind of what it's all about. And everything that we do, up from the steaks to the grilled carrots that we're going to cook today, is an expression of that.
Yes. I haven't had it. I've seen the queue. But hopefully, I might get a little taste.
I think we can work that out.
Yeah. So miso. It's got. I mean, is there what's the influence behind the miso and garlic butter? I mean, miso's. I love a bit of miso.
Yeah. So we did these steaks, and we had the first reservations, and I was kind of thinking to myself, oh well, we should probably put a couple signature sauces with them. Yeah. And I knew I wanted to do a chimichurri, and I knew I wanted to do a compound butter. And so I kind of went in the walk-in, and I said, I'll take the miso, I'll take the mustard, I'll take the garlic.
Sometimes the best way.
And we came up with this really delicious miso, mustard, garlic butter. It's got, it's bright, it's tangy, it's rich, it's garlicky.
It's
really, really tasty.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how long? So what you're grilling or you're
yes.
You've got the
so we're gonna do a smoked and grilled ribeye. This is basically a reverse sear, and it's pretty much the easiest way you can cook a steak. Either if you sous vide it or put it in the oven, slowly bringing it up to temperature so it's nicely cooked all the way through, and then just a super hot sear right away. That's my favorite way to cook a steak. It's almost just like putting it on cruise control.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And you're going to take it up to? Will it be medium rare? Is that a?
Yeah, that's kind of the idea is rare, medium rare. We take it up to 120, 125,
Right.
and then we let it rest a little bit, and then we put it on the hot grill.
Yeah.
And that's about it. Then we
So
let
I've
it rest
noticed
a
you've
little bit
got-
again.
Oh, so we've got actual fire in the monolith now. So that's
Oh, yeah.
that's your bit of wood going up under your. So I noticed you put the deflector in. So you wanna have the wood
Right,
burning,
right.
not just smoking, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do, I'm going to put this on right now.
Yeah, why not?
So-
anyone mind if he puts the steak on? Is that?
Also, if anybody has any questions about anything, just shout them out. But
Yeah.
we will also I'll also have like a period at the end for just questions about barbecue and everything. Also, this panel is called Beyond Brisket, right? So it's like
exactly.
Yeah, so that's kind of the idea. Is like we can do so much with barbecue just beyond what the kind of traditional brisket is.
So the thing about barbecue can mean so many things, especially across the states. I mean, you've got like Texas barbecue, Carolina barbecue.
That's
there.
right.
I mean, what barbecue to you is it? I mean, is it the fire? Is it the culture? Is it the what does barbecue mean to you?
It's
You
a
think
little
Texas
bit, it's a
barbecue?
little bit of everything. I think the main thing is that barbecue is the slow smoking of meat over native wood.
Right.
And then beyond that, I think you could also call it a like certain style of service. For us, Texas barbecue is the market style service. So meats, usually beef, seasoned with salt and pepper, smoked over low heat and served up market style. So
Right.
like by the pound. I think a scoopable side or like a picnic style side, that kind of says barbecue for me.
Yeah.
It doesn't just have to be the coleslaw, the potato salad, the baked beans. It can be so much more than that. And I just want to tell you guys the way I'm seasoning this ribeye right now. So it's pretty heavy, salt. We're not really going to get another chance to season this other than the flaky salt at the end. But I want to make sure that we get a nice coating of salt all over every single area, both sides. We'll always go salt first, and then we'll put the pepper on, nice coarse ground black pepper. That's the flavor of Texas right there. And then we're just going to put this thing on the smoker.
And have you bought your own this kosher salt? Kosher salt came with you?
No, that was here, but we do use that. Yeah.
Because I mean, I tend to use the Morden flakes. I mean, what is you've got more of a granular flake there. I mean,
Yeah. So it's just a
what's
little
your
bit
preference?
smaller. It gets. I like seasoning stuff with this, and then I like finishing stuff with this. This has
right,
such a
okay.
nice crunch to it.
It does, yeah.
That when you finish anything with it, it just tastes amazing.
Right. Okay.
Is
Okay.
there-
Your cooking salt and your finishings? What's your name, chef?
I was gonna put the grate on top of here. I don't know where the
Sure.
cooking
Yeah.
grate went.
Robbie.
Time for another hydration break.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Does everybody in the crowd have a drink?
Let me just.
Is everybody having a good time? Did anybody get a little taste of the ribeye already? Nice.
Okay, Robbie is coming around with the grate, which is great. It's a stupid joke, isn't it? For the old monolith. So yeah, the guys kindly letting us use this German machine. Do you use Kamados back in the?
No, so we have 3 offset smokers
Yep.
and 3 direct heat cookers. Yep.
Thanks,
3
mate.
offsets, 3 direct heat. So the offset is the firebox, cooking chamber, smokestack, convective heat and air and smoke travel across the cooking grate and cook kind of like horizontally. The direct heat cookers, we take a burn barrel, kind of like they have over there,
Yep.
cooking the whole hogs, burn it down to live charcoal, put it directly under the meat that we're cooking, and then fat and juices drip onto that charcoal, vaporize, creates a completely different kind of smoke.
Wow.
So being able to have those 2 different types of barbecue at the restaurant really helps us out a lot. I like the offset cooker for a lot of beef, and I like the direct heat cooker for a lot of chicken and pork. So I'm going to crack this just a little bit. I don't want a ton of airflow in here because I want that log to smolder, and I want to get some smoke out of it.
And you're going for the reverse sear here. So you're cooking it through
Exactly.
to where you want it,
Yes.
and then you're going to come out and hit it hard on the traditional grill.
Yeah,
Great.
exactly. And also, part of cooking new school barbecue is that we're able to treat not just meat, but also vegetables. So we developed this carrot recipe. The first kind of vegetable we cooked as barbecue was our cauliflower burnt ends. So we take a whole head of cauliflower, coat it in our mustard sauce, which has a lot of oil and sugar in it, so it cooks onto things really well. And we smoke that for about 3 or 4 hours till it gets semi-tender. And then we coat it again in our mustard sauce and put it over a live fire grill, so it caramelizes the ends, burns the ends, cauliflower burnt ends. Also, the way that you make burnt ends is like by cooking a piece of brisket twice. So we're cooking it twice, employing those barbecue methods, and then also a little bit of fun wordplay, and then it also just like tastes delicious. And then the final aspect of that is we're able to carve it down in front of people the same way that we would do a piece of meat.
Right.
So people who don't eat meat can still get that barbecue experience of eating something that tastes meaty, that's cooked over live fire, that you can see kind of carved down right in front of you.
Caramelized.
Exactly.
I mean, cauliflower is. I do a thing with cauliflower, just putting it in the coals, and it
Yeah.
burns. Get
Beautifully roasted. Yeah, so good. I like to do sweet potatoes in there. We'll wrap them in foil,
Yes. Yeah,
just throw them
yeah.
in there, and then they'll
Yeah.
roast, and they'll get all caramelized. A little compound butter in there. Super nice.
It may be called Meatopia, but we endorse vegetables.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Don't need too
these
many.
carrots I'm going to talk about a little bit too. We poach these in a court bouillon, a little bit of white wine, some herbs, some onion and garlic, and a little bit of lemon juice. So they get nice and cooked through, but they still have a little bit of rigidity to them. And then we have this little glaze. It's got some miso in it as well. It has some ginger, some onion, some oil, some soy sauce. So it's also that kind of nice and umami. And they basically get coated in this and then grilled and charred kind of the same way.
Lovely.
And then these kind of mimic like a sausage, the way that we kind of cut them and cook them and plate them up too.
Yeah. And you find it, I mean, in I suppose in traditional barbecue, it was very meat heavy. I mean, are you finding there's more a move towards people want to explore sort of, things outside meat?
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people just order them as sides too. They're technically under the mains category of our new menu. But a lot of people just order them as sides. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's essentially that's kind of that you've got that where you want it. It's a bit like when this comes out. You're just going to get the colour on it.
Exactly.
And the
Yeah,
char.
we try to do a lot of like pre-prep. That way it's just like easy to go, ready to go, fire it off. Anything that we're searing or cooking over direct coals or cooking like really hot on the grill, we want it to be mostly cooked when it goes on because we're cooking super hot. We want to sear the crap out of it. But we don't want it to burn. So it's got to bring it up almost all the way and then just on the fire for a short amount of time, and then it's good to go.
Spectacular.
Yeah. I'm going to throw these carrots on.
Hydration break.
Remove these
Keep hydrated, kids. Stay
nice
safe.
looking cast irons out of the way.
Yeah, they're straight out of the box, those guys. So I just
Those are nice.
seasoned them a little earlier with a bit of oil, so hopefully they're hot and oily.
Kind of move these coals around a little bit too. Stack them up. Make sure they're nice and hot. While we're getting ready here, anybody have any questions about LeRoy and Lewis, Texas barbecue, brisket, steaks, beef cheeks?
No, sir, at the back first. Saw that. Can you hear that? Shall I go over?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, two-parter. Are we using a water pan? And how long does it take the smoke to get into the meat? Like, how long is it smoking? First answer is that I didn't believe water pans were a thing until we got this new barbecue pit. And then it just moved so much air so fastly, whipped all the moisture off the top of everything we were cooking, brisket, beef cheeks, everything. We just couldn't figure out how this pit worked. We had it designed exactly like the last pit we had. And then we were just like, why is this not working? Why is it like the smoke moving in different ways? It's just not working exactly the same. We couldn't understand it. And then we just put a water pan in there and everything worked out. It just kind of like intensified the density of the smoke in there with the extra moisture in there. It just helped everything move along. It just added the thing that wasn't there, which was just a little bit extra moisture. So I'll say that it depends on the barbecue pit. If the things you're cooking feel like they're coming out dry, even though they are like pretty fatty pieces, and if you're kind of not understanding the way that the airflow works in there, introducing a little bit of moisture in the form of a water pan could be a very good idea.
And will that actually, because will it sort of end up like a bit of a steam oven? Will it cook quicker? Will it?
Yeah. I mean, yes, a little bit quicker.
Bit hotter.
It's not necessarily like a steamer, but it does add a little bit of moisture to because it's not as like, it's not as hot as a steamer because it's not like right up there, over 212. But yeah.
And sir, you had a question there.
So when you're doing a reverse sealer, what's the best way? You've only got the luxury of 2 grills. What's the best way to run?
Good question.
I never get on the reverse seat 'cause it's always quite low.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
So what I would do if you only have one grill is I would go nice and low and slow with a lot of smoke on it on your grill with your chips or your chunks, and then pull it off to rest because you're going to need rest time anyway. Then add more charcoal. Then you're right up again ready to sear by the time it rests down. Yeah. All of my barbecue utensils are at the restaurant, so the only thing I have at home is a Weber grill. So I do that at home all the time with steaks, with a bunch of other stuff, with burgers. So that's exactly how I do it at home.
Do you know there's another thing? So so if I was going to do something like that in a little drum cooker, so first I build an offset fire, right? So you put it on the not on the far side. Get your cook until you're at the right temperature. And one of the greatest inventions in the world, I think, obviously the wheel, but also the starter chimney. Have you got one of them? So you have one of them going.
Yeah.
So when you're ready, you can put fresh coal straight on. Bang! You're in hot.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah. Do you know what? So Josh Ozersky, the great Josh Ozersky, who invented. He's not in that helicopter. He's no longer with us. He might be. I mean, that's not a helicopter. He once did a thing called an afterburner steak. And it was on a chimney. So you got a chimney to completely flame into the top, and then you just put a steak over it. Just held it over there with a fork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the kind of heat that I really like to cook with as far as we are talking about a sear. I like it rocket hot.
Yeah.
I like to bring it all the way up and just have it ready to go, and then just and then it's ready. We do tri-tips like that at the restaurant every day, so we could actually cook those over direct heat on that direct heat smoker. So fat side down, dripping onto the coals, adding a lot of smoke, and then when we bring it off, it's nice and medium rare, 125, and then as soon as it goes onto the grill, like literally 10 seconds on each side, and it's ready.
Wow, lovely. So how many cookers you've got? How big's the big?
So we've got
cooker?
one 1,000 gallon offset smoker.
1,000 gallons.
We've got one
trying to equate that to
500.
something. Yeah.
So the ones that Johan has down there over at Holy Smoke, that's 2 500. So we have one that's double that size.
Double those, right?
And
yeah.
one that's that size. And then we also have a 115, which is pretty small. It's kind of like a backyard offset smoker. And we use that one to do these steaks a lot because we can keep it nice and low and not kind of interrupt any other cooking that we're doing. We also usually do burgers and sausages on that for dinner service or lunch service, kind of when we need to like re-up from whatever we're cooking. So we do got 1,000, the 500, the 115, and then we have 3 Chud boxes, which is our direct heat cooker made by my friend Bradley Robinson, Chud's Barbecue.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have your stuff made. You design your own and have them built.
Yeah. So I built the first one. I sitting down reading the Franklin Barbecue book years ago, and I closed it. And I went online and I bought a 500-gallon propane tank and I bought a welder because those were cheaper than buying a smoker at the time. And I learned how to do it and I cut on it. I mean, it looks sloppy as hell. It just looks like rubbish. But it works.
Do you know it seems to be a thing? Like if you're into barbecue, part of the kind of rite of passage seems to be not only learning how to do it and spending bloody hours and days next to a cooker.
That's right.
It's also building the cooker.
Yeah,
for
sure.
So many pitmasters and chefs, I've heard the same thing. It's like, you can go and buy one, but no, you're going to build one as well. Yeah.
Exactly.
Fantastic. I absolutely love
I'm going to try to put a little bit more charcoal on this guy.
Yes.
Is that all right? Oh, here we go. Here's some right here. Got to cook hot.
So we're up to 275 here, chef. You happy with that?
Nice. Yeah. I'll check on that steak in just a moment. I think it is going to go a little bit quicker than we do at the restaurant. I think we usually end up smoking the steaks at the restaurant around 2 hours, 3 hours. This one we're trying to speed it up a little bit.
And what's the weight of that? Is that a kg? Is it one kg?
We
chop
usually, I don't know how big this one is, but we usually cook them at the restaurant around 3 to 6 pounds. Sometimes
Right.
they're really, really big. And that's to serve just a larger group of people.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go check
Incredible.
this
Yeah,
guy.
let's have a look
How's
at
it
that.
go?
Let's see how we're looking.
Oh, yeah.
Hello.
Lovely. Can I use
actually-
these?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Nice. Let's
That's
give it a little
looking-
flip here.
That's looking pretty nice already.
Oh, yeah. Looks great, feels great.
And so what's your method there? I mean, you're not using any technology there. What's your?
I mean, if I had a probe, I would use one. I just don't have one on me. But I mean, I can.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Ah,
Thank
there
you,
we
my
go.
lovely assistant.
There we go. So it's all no probes at all. It's just he can feel it. He puts his hand near it and then he knows.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
the probe.
I'm looking at a few different things. So on the other side, there was some bubbling happening on the fat by the bone.
Yeah.
It's definitely browning. It's definitely like shrinking up a little bit. So this is right around 72 degrees right now. It's still going pretty slow. I'm sorry. I'm just going to work in Fahrenheit because that's what I know.
Yeah, no, you do. Yeah, absolutely. I can't convert backwards and forwards.
But yeah, that's going along nice and
Yeah.
okay. These carrots over here look pretty good too. We got the fire coming up a little bit here. Everything's going according to plan right now.
Excellent. So how many people are you? So at LeRoy and Lewis, what sort of throughput have you got? I mean, I've never been to Austin, but I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen. It seems like people are just furiously eating barbecue. And
Yes. Yeah.
how many covers are you doing? Sort of.
We're
in a,
pretty
in a
busy.
day?
I would say. I mean, on a kind of a slow day, I would say between 120, 160.
Wow.
On a busy day, we'll probably do 300 to 500 people through the door, just
Wow.
depending on time of year. So yeah, we serve a lot of people there every day. But we try to make it like we have our menu set up based on plates and not based on by the weight. So there's almost like a measuring contest in Texas barbecue of like how many briskets are you cooking a day? How much meat are you going through a day?
Right.
And I mean, that's not necessarily the measure that I want to like think about. It's more of like
Yeah.
how many people we're serving.
Yeah.
And then how, it's business, how much money we're making.
Absolutely.
So we have our menu set up in a way that says all the meats, all the sides, 1 meat plate, 2 meat plate. And so people see that and they go 1 meat plate, 2 meat plate. That's their kind of first visual choice. It's not like all the meats listed by the pound prices. So their first visual choice isn't like a pound of this, a pound of that. So we
Right,
don't want
yeah.
people walking away with huge trays. We want them like, okay, single serving for a single person. That way we can have all the best tasting, freshest, delicious meat for the people that day, not taken home and microwave the next day.
Yeah. I mean, do you know what? I mean, it does seem I've got my brother-in-law, 2 brother-in-laws in the States.
Oh,
And
yeah.
It does seem like a lot of American restaurants you go to, you always end up leaving with a doggy bag. And
Yeah.
this never goes to the dog. But you open my brother-in-law's fridge. He lives
Yeah,
in
way too
Chicago,
much.
and
Way
there's just
too
lots of these boxes, because
Right.
they don't actually ever even. It doesn't get around to finishing it. It's at
Yeah.
every restaurant you've got too much food,
Yeah, exactly. And, we're trying to make sure that we're keeping the quality really high.
Yeah. It's good
And-
food. You don't
yeah,
want people
yeah.
to leave it in the fridge in a bag.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it also allows us to serve more people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, this ribeye's going very well.
Uh-huh.
These carrots are chilling. The
Yep.
charcoal's coming up. I just put this ribeye back up to come up to temperature a little bit. What do I do with my little probe here? Check this guy
So,
out.
does anyone not like steak? Just, Mr. Tofu. One. But you like carrots, though, right? Yeah, he's in for the carrots, man. Yeah.
Awesome. We've rested down to about 100 degrees on this steak. These carrots are going right now. We're at a bit of a kind of pause moment.
Bit
if
of a hiatus.
Yeah,
Right, so
if there are more questions, we're happy to take them.
There we go. Sir.
Do we use offal? Some of it, yes. So we cooked beef cheeks, and I mean, that's not necessarily considered offal. It's a muscle. We do tongue as well, but that's a muscle. So, I mean, we do some kind of chicken liver patés. Whenever we get the hearts in for those whole cows, we kind of put that into the grind as well. We get the beef livers in, but, you know, that's a really strong flavor. Sometimes people aren't a huge fan of that. Sometimes I actually end up grinding. I end up cooking that and grinding it up and mixing it with a little brown rice and sweet potato, and it's my dog loves it. I'll say that much.
So you had a question as well?
I think if you have something that just tastes really good, you know, as itself, if you already source really good beef, you don't really need to do much to it. You don't need a whole bunch of seasonings. Same thing with pork or just meat in general. I think if you source really good meat, you don't have to do that much to it. Just try not to screw it up. But if we're talking about vegetables, you know, you got to like kind of put a little bit more effort in, employ a little bit more culinary techniques. So yeah, we try to kind of play a little bit around with the vegetables and keep the meats as good and simple as we possibly can.
And I mean, good meat. I mean, good meat tastes great. And then
Yeah.
I mean, smoke is a flavour, right? So
Exactly.
you're adding the smoke, and have you got? So what woods do you smoke with? Have you got?
So
favourites?
we exclusively use post oak wood because if you start to put a bunch of different woods in the smoker, it'll take on a different flavor. The
Yes.
smoker itself will take on a different
Smoker
flavor.
itself, right?
Yeah.
Okay, right.
So we just exclusively use post oak wood. To me, that's the flavor of Central Texas. When we talk about classic Texas barbecue methods, I think offset, post oak, salt and pepper, sliced market style. Those are the things that I'm talking about. So yeah, post oak.
The thing about this job, it makes me hungry. Everything, pretty much everything makes me hungry. That's the thing, you know. It's like, yeah. Are there any other questions out there? Anyone? Sir.
So there's two answers to that question. Our restaurant is a lineup. It's queue. So it's first come, first serve. For certain items, right, like our bacon ribs are very, very popular. We only serve those on Saturdays. We are only able to make about 30 of them because that's about a whole pig and a half's worth of ribs. And we only bring in whole pigs. So it takes us about 10 days to make those bacon ribs. So we have to really get ahead of them. And they got so popular because Phil Rosenthal ate them on Netflix. And now when we serve them on Saturday, the first 30 go to the first 30 people in line. So if you want a bacon rib, you got to get there really early on Saturday morning. But for everything else, you can pretty much come in and get. However, for this steak experience, we have about a 60-person wait list right now. We only can get about 24 steaks off of a cow. And we only do I say we do 24 of them like a month. So we probably have like a 2 to 3 month wait list right now for the steak itself. But everything else, you just come in the restaurant pretty much any time and get it.
And will you run out of stuff? Will you get do you sort of cross stuff off the board, and when it's gone, do you ever have to go down the line and say you're not getting in? Right.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, in Texas, everybody really, really wants sliced beef.
Right.
And so we have multiple different sliced beefs on the menu, and such that our menu just says sliced beef. It doesn't say brisket or cheek or flat iron or anything else. It just says sliced beef. And so we will run people through those options. When we do have brisket, that runs out first. When we do have cheeks, that runs out first because it's really popular. But we have started cooking this flat iron. We call it a flat iron. I think you guys call it a feather blade or a top blade. It's off the shoulder
or
clod.
Denver steak, maybe.
Denver steak.
Yeah.
So we've been smoking that in the style of a brisket. So any of that really super rendered, crusty, smoke ring, fat cap, that kind of stuff goes out pretty quick. But then if we are really busy on the weekend, then we take the stuff that we take out of the whole cows and we can fire off some fajitas really quickly. We can fire off a picanha really quickly.
Right.
We can fire off a bavette really quickly. So we try to keep those steak cuts that are not the huge bone-in pieces on reserve for if we run out of the stuff that takes a whole day to cook.
Right. So you rarely have to then sort of go, right, you've eaten everything, but you've got something you can do.
Yeah, some things do run out. The more popular items do run out, but we always have stuff for people to eat. We
Yeah.
also have an entire menu called Anytime Eats full of sandwiches and appetizers and burgers and side dishes and salads. So you can come in and you don't have to wait in line to order that stuff. You can just go to the bar and order it.
Right.
Yeah, so if people come in and they see a huge line, they're like, oh, no, I don't want to wait in line. You can just go and order our really delicious smoked and seared burger as well.
Smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know, I love the simplicity of that kind, like sliced meat. There was a place in Brooklyn at one point in Williamsburg that was I don't even know what it was called, but it was like it had a hatch, and the hatch would either say brisket or no brisket. Yeah. And I love that. It's just fantastic,
So good.
Yeah. And anyone else got a question? Okay. Young man.
Favorite cut of steak to cook and eat? To cook, I would say it's the porterhouse because I think it presents really well and it just looks so good. We do the exact same thing that we're doing to this one for the porterhouses, and when we bring it to the table, we see people's eyes just light up. And as somebody in hospitality, that's the drug that we're after. That's the dragon we're chasing.
Yeah.
But it is super, super fun to cook that and present it with the flaky salt and the thyme and everything. As far as to cook, I would say probably bavette. Like
I like bavette.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love,
And onglet.
love
Bavette
a
and onglet, two of my
thick
favourites.
skirt steak.
Yeah.
They're simple. They're delicious. There's a lot of flavor. I also love a hanger steak.
Yeah.
Super good.
Super quick and just flash it hard on both sides. Pink in the middle. Lovely.
Easy.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. There was another question out there somewhere, wasn't there? Who was? At the back there, sir. Go-to side.
Go-to side. I usually try to get some sort of green salad going. I've got, my wife doesn't really like barbecue.
Wow.
And I try to at least, have something healthy for my daughter. So I try to put a green salad in there, but, she's 5 years old. So, or my daughter's 5 years old. She's 5 years old, so she... won't necessarily eat a salad unless we make it really good. So that's a challenge for me. Maybe a little apples, maybe a little dried cranberry, or some kind of texture and sweetness in there is what she likes. So I really like a green salad. I love rocket. Love a little spinach salad with maybe like a bacon dressing is super good. Salad. Surprise, the barbecue people like to eat salad.
Anyone else? Here we go, sir.
I think that depends on what you're going to do with it. So if we're talking about a brisket or a rack of beef short ribs, plate ribs that you're cooking on the barbecue or the smoker, then that I think needs to have some fat. That I think is really good for grain-fed beef. If you are talking about like a quick grilled steak, then I kind of like grass-fed. As long as you can cook it correctly. And also, we are flush with beef fat all the time, just at a barbecue restaurant. So anything that we cook that's really lean, we'll just like rest it or bathe it in beef fat, or kind of like dunk the slices in a little bit of tallow as well. So we're not really in danger of having anything dry. But I do like the flavor of grass-fed beef. But there's a distinction because a lot of the grass-fed beef we get in Texas, you got to think about the grass itself. There's like this scrubby, straw-like, dried-out, harsh grass in Texas. And when you eat grass-fed beef in Texas, it kind of tastes like that. But if you eat grass-fed beef that's from here or from somewhere like in the northeast of the United States, they're eating beautiful, green, soft, lush grass, and you can taste that in the beef as well. So beef that is from a place that has good grass is really good. And then if you're trying to barbecue something, try to go as fatty and grain-fed as possible.
But then we had a bit of this conversation earlier. So I mean, there's a thing in the States, like some of the sort of really commercially produced beef, it's made in sort of feedlots. So that literally the cows are just in big troughs, like mooing and kind of eating grain and farting out toxic dust and stuff.
Pumps full of antibiotics.
Exactly. Otherwise, they're ruminants. They want to eat grass, don't they? Not grain.
Exactly.
So, but there's a difference to you can and even here you'll pasture a cow and then at the end maybe give it something like a grain or apples or something.
Yeah.
Just to sort of add a bit of fat to it.
That's right.
Anyone else got something else? Yes, sir.
Desserts. Do we like to smoke, or just like to eat? Eat and smoke. So my favorite dessert, just period, is a chocolate chip cookie. I think it's just it's undefeated. It's classic. We've made a like a brisket chocolate chip cookie before, where we take like little kind of fine chopped end pieces and mix it in with the chocolate chips, and then also candy a burn end and just plop it right down on top of the soft cookie. That's really good. To smoke, I love like a cobbler on the smoker is really good. A stone fruit smoked cobbler is fantastic. And at the restaurant, my favorite dessert right now is a German chocolate cobbler. So talking about a German chocolate cake, right? It's chocolate cake with a pecan and coconut frosting. The German chocolate cobbler is like the inverse of that. So it's like a coconut pecan cobbler with a chocolate topping on it. We put this buttermilk ice cream on it, so tanginess cuts through all the richness. It's so good.
Hello.
It is so good. Oh, God.
I'm on a plane in the morning.
I miss it right now.
Do you know what? There's so that kind of, you were saying about the brisket cook.
Yeah.
So I was with my good friend and partner Richard Turner. We were sitting. We just finished doing a kind of a cookout, and we happened to have some soft cookie,
Nice.
and we had some really nice like sort of steak just cooked. You know, I think it might have been fillet actually. It's a bit of fillet, but really tasty fillet. It's just and we decided to make sandwiches with a little bit of cookie and a steak in the middle. Fucking lovely.
Yeah, that
Really,
sounds
really
incredible.
nice,
There
yeah.
are some like similar aromatic compounds because you have some people in Texas, like when does a brisket, can you smell when it's done, right? And I've heard Ernest Cervantes from the Burnt Beans say, yeah, it smells like chocolate chip cookies.
Right.
And it kind of
There's
does
similar
have like a
profiles.
very similar,
Yeah.
that finished chocolate chip cookie when
Yeah.
it's like that chocolate just gets a little bit of caramelized. Like it's almost the same thing when that beef fat is like finally, it's like when the top of it is glistening. It does have a similar aromatic profile.
Yeah. No,
Super good.
As always, I'm getting hungry. Anyway, oh, hands up. Yes, sir.
Not too long. I mean, they're whole, so it's not like a quick blanch, but it's probably 8 to 10 minutes. It's pretty quick. We have a knife handy that we can just like kind of probe them with, and as soon as they're just like probe tender, then we pull them off and we stick them in an ice bath, and then they go into like a container that's labeled for the day, and then we bring those out and then grill them.
Did I say that you scored them? Did you score them down the?
No, we just peel them and then yeah.
They're looking pretty good now. Look at them.
Yeah, they do look really good, right?
Chris,
That
the
looks
carrots,
pretty
mate.
good,
They're looking really good. Yeah.
I'll go for that.
This is
gonna
Mr.
move
Chris
these up
Toffey, by the way.
top.
So he's a great man. He provides all of our music for the show and has done for 11 years, even though he's a vegetarian. So I think probably a round of applause just for this man. Well done, Chris. Sir Chris.
Okay, this steak is looking really good. We're getting some caramelization, a little bit of bubbling on the sides there. I think we'll have a couple bones for people too. I know that's been what everybody really wants today. Everybody's asking for the bone. The bones are good.
Yeah, do you know what? It's a kind of a thing. Whenever we like have someone doing T-bones, we always say, look, pick a small child as well, because a small child holding a massive
Looks
meat bone,
hilarious.
Looks great. Yeah.
All right, this thing is probably getting pretty close. Oh yeah,
Oh, look at
bubbling over there.
yes.
Gonna give it the probe. Still around 90, 100. I think it's gonna be right on time.
Right
oh
on the
yeah,
money.
right on time. We're gonna finish up right at 6. It's gonna be perfect.
Bang on. Well, okay, we're the next one starting at 6, so we're.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
You want me to finish now?
Yeah. No. We're good. So, by the way, these things, so the monolith there and the little perilla over here, they're both the guys are over in the Quayside Hall. They're called Black Box Barbecue. So, if anyone's interested in these, those guys will tell you all about them. This one's it's a good couple of grand's worth of German engineering. But it really is an amazing fella.
Yeah, there's a lot more
Yeah.
like features on it than any other
Yeah,
kind of
it's-
like ceramic cooker that I've seen.
No, and they've really. I mean, you
That's
can
really
sort of
cool.
set it up in about 99 ways. This, I think, is a wood chip loader, I think. And then you've
Oh,
got
yeah.
like a skewer rotator. What's it called? Like rotisserie. Yeah, skewer rotator. It's not called skewer rotator. Idiot.
Grab this
Yeah.
trash real quick.
All the fires, all the machines,
Everything's looking good.
all
So
looking good. And what we're going for a bit of baguette here, chef.
yeah, I'm just gonna.
What are you going to do? Toast it, or
I was just gonna cut up little pieces so it's
Yeah.
easy to hand out the steak.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I can keep taking questions, or I can just talk.
Yeah, yes. Up the front. Very good.
Sauces at the restaurant. So we have a beet barbecue sauce that is like a pretty balanced sauce. It's not like beet based. It's not ketchup based or mustard based or vinegar based. It has all those things in it, but in pretty equal amounts. But we added the beet juice to really make the color pop off, and then also kind of add a little bit of sweet earthiness. And it looks really great. It tastes great on everything. It's nice and peppery, like a really good Texas-style barbecue sauce. And then we also have a mustard-based barbecue sauce. One of my favorite places growing up. I mean, the quality there now leaves maybe something to be desired, but their sauce is still undefeated. That's the Salt Lick. If you've ever been to Austin, Texas, the Salt Lick is like a pilgrimage-worthy place to go. It's feeds a ton of people. You can bring a cooler in there, so it's like a BYOB situation as well. It's just a ton of fun to go down there, even though the barbecue isn't like great. But their sauce is just so good, and it took me so long to figure out how to make it. I made so many different types of mustard barbecue sauces, and they were always too strong. They were always too tangy. They were always just like too intense until I turned around the bottle of Salt Lake barbecue sauce, and the first ingredient was oil. And so I was just making the sauce. I just put the sauces that I was making, and I did 50% oil,
and
it
you're there.
just smoothed everything out, and it was like made it glossy, made it palatable, made it like really good to like cook with. Like if you base something or brush something with it that you're cooking, it's just going to caramelize right away. That oil, that sugar is going to go to work with the fire and make a nice Maillard reaction. So we put that on our chickens. We do that with a lot of pork ribs and stuff too. Yeah.
Lovely. Any other hands out there? Aha, sir. Lamb. You ever do lamb?
I love doing lamb. We do kind of like a Mexican version of pulled lamb barbacoa. So we take the whole lamb and break it down and then cook it on our direct cooker and then kind of wrap it up in pans when it's all done with a few ancho chilies, bay leaves, onions. And then the next day we will pick all of that meat. It goes into a warmer overnight. The next day we'll pick all of that meat and kind of mix it with the juices. And then we'll put it up in some house-made flour tortillas. So,
wow.
Yeah, I love lamb barbacoa.
I'll have a bit of that, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. When I turn up on your doorstep at LeRoy and Lewis, it will happen.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else got something? Sir?
Yeah, I'm there in a few weeks. Any recommendations?
Aha.
On our menu or other restaurants? Yeah. I would say if you when you go to LeRoy and Lewis, if you want one of the steak experiences, email us and get on the list now and let us know that you're coming. And that's the only time you'll be there. If you want to get a bacon rib, get there early on Saturday. As far as other restaurants in Austin, I mean, I could talk to you all day about other restaurants in Austin. Tex-Mex, my favorite is Matt's El Rancho. Just for like straight up tacos. Quantos Tacos is really good. It's a food truck. I mean, there's so much good food in Austin. You can literally throw a rock and hit it. Like it's so good. It's my favorite place to eat in the world.
Questions? Another question? At the back there, sir, yeah.
Are you asking if we prefer briquettes or lump charcoal? I prefer lump charcoal. Usually the briquettes have kind of fillers and stuff in them that's not very good. It is like nice kind of even heat. Like you do get some temperature spikes with lump charcoal based just on how big or small the pieces are. You'll also get a lot more dust in the bag with lump than you will with briquettes. But I like the clean burning nature of lump charcoal. I like the flavor of lump charcoal. I think I just generally prefer lump charcoal to briquettes, just
and
because.
you know it's natural, don't you? I mean, you can see it's bits of wood, and we're pretty careful about what we use here. So
Yeah.
We've got the House of Charcoal are supporting us. With all, they do all the fires, and it's all sustainably grown. Firstly, so you know that there's trees going up where they're coming down. As it's produced as low energy as possible. But it's hardwood and it's single species, and the reason for that is that firstly hardwood burns cleaner. So if you go and get a bag of old crap from the garage, it could be anything, and if it's not hardwood, the grain's bigger, and softwood will burn bigger particulates. That's bad. And if it's not the same species, you'll get different burst rates. So, if it's all the same, it should burn. As Evan says, different pieces will sort of spike a bit, but you'll generally get a more even temperature and a better flavour. So, I mean, if you've got a lump of old hardboard in there, it's not going to add much to your cooking, is it? But
exactly right.
Yeah.
All right. Any more questions? I'm getting ready to finish these steaks off. Cut them up. 100%. The kind of barbecue I was talking about, the direct heat barbecue, that's pretty much 100% Carolinas. We cook and serve whole hogs. We serve a barbecue pork hash. I think that employing the use of different styles of barbecue is kind of what modern barbecue is all about, and I think we try to embody modern barbecue. So we try to certainly make use of methods and flavor profiles from the Carolinas. Absolutely.
Do you think, because you were saying about salt licks, so salt licks like a standard, been there for years and years and years, and you're sort of saying maybe it's kind of not as good as it was, but do you think is that because the standard of barbecue has just come up? Probably they haven't changed, but it was just that's what people were happy with then, and now.
Yes, I think that is exactly the situation with the salt lick. And with a lot of other places, even like with a place like Franklin Barbecue, like they were at the undisputed king of barbecue for a number of years.
Yes.
I don't necessarily know that is the truth anymore. I mean, they're still incredible. If anything, they've gotten better.
We had Aaron Franklin over here in 2013, in fact.
Yeah. He's awesome. I love him. He's a very good friend of mine. But I think that just the quality of barbecue everywhere, all over the country, all over the state, even in people's backyards, with so much knowledge out there. You don't have to go and apprentice at a place for years and years to learn how to cook barbecue. No. You can just literally go online.
But to be fair, Aaron Franklin himself, he came through the same route, didn't he? Taught himself, he studied it, he wanted to know how to make a great brisket.
Yeah.
Got loads wrong, burnt his restaurant down a couple of times.
yeah.
That's something you've got to do. That's a rite of passage for a pitmaster. Have you burnt your restaurant down?
Maybe not. Oh. We've had a pit fire before, but it wasn't, that was when we were in a food truck, and so we had a separate trailer. Right. So, if that burned down, that was kind of okay. Yeah. All we had to do was rebuild it. It's not like we needed to even skip a beat.
Right. Burnable trailers.
Yeah, burn the trailer. Don't burn the building.
Are we got time for another question at all, Chef?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyone? Sir.
Do you cook spicy stuff?
Good question.
Yes, we do. A few years ago, it was, we were in the food truck, summertime in Texas. It's so hot. It's so slow. Nobody wants to stand outside. I went home and I watched this episode of No Reservations where Anthony Bourdain is in India and he's eating spicy curries. And they're saying when it's hot outside, you eat spicy food and you sweat and it cools you off.
Right.
So I got this idea, and we've done this for like 6 or 7 years in a row. We do this thing called Heat Week. It's where we do 5 different spicy specials, one a day, Wednesday through Sunday. And if you come and eat that spicy special Wednesday through Sunday, if you come to our restaurant every day of the week for 1 week and buy the spicy special, then at the end of the week you get a piece of merch, you get a gift card. It's like a challenge, but that's kind of our time of year where we go crazy with the chilies, and we've even dipped our toes into the extract before, and that we just can't do that anymore. It's too spicy. So once a year I get really deep into the spicy food. We do all kinds of crazy spicy stuff. We've done habanero poppers. We've done like extremely spicy Italian beefs. We've done all kinds of like pork belly Thai curries. The spiciest thing that we've ever done was like a play on the Taco Bell double-decker taco. We had these refried beans that were just like atomic, We had like the barbacoa inside was crazy spicy. The salsa, the chilies on it. We even like dusted the like crispy tortilla shell in like an extra spicy cayenne, and like it was over the top. It was completely crazy. So yes, we do eat spicy food, but only once a week because I can't really handle it the rest of the year.
Good answer. And I think so. We're sort of 5 minutes. We're running up now. I can feel the heat. How we looking over there?
Good. I'm about to slice it up.
Look at that. Who's are you? Do you need some assistance on the slice? No.
I think I got it.
Yeah.
I mean, we could.
We've got
Do we
someone
have any
to.
disposable gloves? I would love a disposable glove to slice them up.
Have we got
if that's possible.
disposable gloves? No, not sure. Probably if they're far away, then it's best answer to say we don't.
That's all good.
Yeah.
We'll make it work.
But we will need your assistance to get this this steak out to this hungry crowd.
Somebody want a bone?
Who wants the bowl? There we go.
You've already got one, right? Okay. Here you go, guys. Enjoy the bone.
So hands up, who wants steak? I'm not going to count. Not going to count. 2 hands. Good move, sir. Good move. Like it. Okay.
Well, I got to be putting this butter on here. Miso, mustard, garlic butter.
Look at that.
All over the steak.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you know what isn't better with butter?
That's right.
But particularly steak.
Everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Slicing pieces up. And if you don't get a piece over here, don't worry, guys. We're still serving over there. I think, right? Yeah, there's still a key.
Yeah, just looking up there. Yeah, it looks good. Looks good. Do you know how many serves you've done today over there?
Before we stopped, we did about 360, I think. So a decent amount. I would imagine by now it's a few more. But
excellent.
It's been great fun. Everybody today has been lovely. Food's been great.
No, I mean this is. I have to say, it's sort of a, it's an audience that's always gonna love good meat and fire. I mean that's kind of why we're here. So
Will you help me cut up some of these carrots, and then we'll just put them in the boats as well, and we'll get these going. We'll feed the people.
Feed the people. You're gonna get these? Yeah, get them out to the.
Because we're running a little short on time.
1 second, please. As usual, I might just try one to make sure you're not eating any old rubbish.
Yeah, if we just throw a little carrot in there, then we're good.
Looking after you.
These look good, too.
They look very good.
Any kind of final questions about barbecue while I'm cutting these steaks up?
Ah, sir. Yes.
Do we run the fire 24 hours? No. So we light them in the morning. We cook everything we need to during the day. And then when nobody's there at night, we shut them down. We do that for safety reasons, for staffing reasons. Yeah, I mean, I don't really want to make anybody do something that I wouldn't do. And every time that I've tried to cook overnight, it's just been a disaster. So I need sleep. Everybody needs sleep. Guys, make sure you're getting your sleep, drinking water. But
stay hydrated.
Yeah. No, I don't. No, we don't really cook overnight just because it's really difficult. And
that might be when your restaurant starts burning down. I mean, to be quite honest,
Yeah.
Yeah. Fires when you're asleep, like.
Yeah, you're
Although
exactly right.
I do remember when, Aaron Franklin came with a guy called Braun, who's kind of his head chef. And Braun did I think I'll be quite honest with you, I think Braun hated the idea it was grass-fed brisket, and he was just antsy about it. And he literally did sleep, and he slept next to the smoker. He didn't leave the dockside, He was.
Yeah, I mean I can understand that.
Yeah, he's pretty moody in the morning, He didn't have a good morning face. No.
Yeah, I think the guys cooking hogs were out here till about 6, and I think they got a call at about 7 asking where they were.
Look at that hunk of meat.
Okay, I got one more bone.
One more bone. There's hands, loads of hands, loads of hands.
Let me grab one of these big plates down here. One more bone. Come on up.
Oh, she's moving. She's on the move. Here she comes. Oh,
pass it back. Don't take it.
There you go. Look. Oh, there you go. Now that's well done, sir. Yeah.
A little bit more.
Well done.
butter on top of this steak.
Just a little bit of butter, just a handful. Look at that.
Looks super good.
Oh, yeah. Here they come, guys. Now, I don't know how many of these there are, you know, so it's... Obviously, we'll do our best.
Trying to make as many as we can. Oh, I've never worked at any places in Houston, but I've been to many of them. A lot of my friends have places in Houston. Obviously, Truth Barbecue, Feegis Barbecue, Blood Brothers Barbecue. So many good places in Houston. Houston and Austin are so different, but they both have really good barbecue.
Anyone else know any other questions? Ah, madam, yes.
said after Florida, you went to New York. Barbecue there was not for you, or you couldn't cook there and then you went home?
Well, I was just homesick, and because I was so homesick, I started working at a barbecue restaurant there that was called Hill Country Barbecue. And so that was not that good when I started working there, but when I became the pitmaster, it got good.
Excellent. And there's no coincidence there then.
Yeah, no.
Excellent. I mean, there are some. There's a. What was the pig place in Greenpoint in New York? Was quite good.
Pig Beach.
No,
Pig Beach is super good, or Hometown Barbecue is really
Hometown.
good.
Hometown's
yeah.
great. Yeah.
We love Billy Durney.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was back in, I left New York in 2012. And so up until then, there wasn't super great barbecue there. But after I left, there turned out to be some pretty decent places there, yeah. But it's more of like a fad there in New York. I don't know if there's a ton of excellent barbecue restaurants there now. I think at the point there were, but I think people kind of got over it, have moved on to the next thing the way they do in New York.
Things do sort of go in trends. I mean, I know certainly over here when we started with Meatopia in 2013, there was a real kind of wave of US barbecue.
Oh yeah.
You know, going on, and then it's sort of what happened. I think is then you started finding, you know, pulled pork at sandwich shops and stuff. You know.
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
But there's a real seems to be a resurgence now.
Yeah,
I think in your, you know, more in your sort of new school line, you know, sort of really pushing things forward, like Don's doing out there, and
Exactly.
like Hector's doing.
Yeah, I think different sort of ethnic styles of barbecue. I
Yeah.
kind of equate it to the brewing, the way that the kind of brewing industry went in the States, right?
Yeah.
Like it was, at first every like little town had a brewery,
Yeah.
and then what happened was the bigger cities started to like get niche breweries. So a sour brewery, and an English brewery, a German style brewery. I think that's kind of how it's going to go with barbecue. There's going to be like an Indian barbecue place and a Mexican barbecue place and an Asian barbecue place, and then also I think other restaurants will employ the use of smokers and barbecue methods, but will not necessarily be a barbecue restaurant.
Yep.
So
That makes sense.
yeah.
Well, look, we're kind of running up against the clock here. I know we've got some grouse to be happening in the house.
I think that's just about it. I want to make sure you get some though, Mark. Here.
I've hidden myself.
Oh, okay.
Here.
Oh, you got your piece back there.
don't
Okay.
I'm not stupid. Yeah, I just didn't want to eat it while no one else was eating it.
Okay. I want to thank you guys very much for coming out here today. This was a lot of fun. Hope you learned something. Hope you eat some of our ribeye.
That's
Hope
epic.
to see you guys in Austin, Texas later this year at LeRoy and Lewis.
Have a LeRoy,
Cheers.
Lewis. I've got a mouthful of that.
Is it good?
Really fucking good.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you.
Go and see Evan in Austin.
Nice
LeRoy
little
and
piece for
Lewis.
you, buddy.
And if you hold on for a minute, we will be coming out to you with some
Yes, sir.
grouse, some meat game. Thank you, chef.
Thank you.